2 years ago, I played the entirety of the Silent Hill franchise. All because I never played these games growing up. Because I was a scared little kid. Okay, I played a lot of fighting games, but I put horror games away from me as much as possible. So I started playing from Silent Hill 1 up to Silent Hill Downpour, and I did play the other non-mainline games such as Shattered Memories, but other than that, I played all of the mainline games. I didn't play the Java phone game if you're wondering, because that doesn't really look exciting. I mean, if you liked it, then yeah. Someone ported the game into PC, I think using the Doom engine, which is curious, but yeah. Look it up. You can experience Silent Hill, which was made for Java phones back then. There's also the Silent Hill rail shooter arcade game. So if you like Time Crisis, House of the Dead, and somehow just you want it Silent Hill themed, there's also that, but I think it'll be a miracle if you could find an arcade cabinet with that game on it, because that cabinet is kind of rare nowadays. People did rip the game from the machine, and you can run it through emulation. I've tried it myself. It's a little hard to play. I was planning on streaming it, but it's a little tricky. But if you're not streaming it, you just want to experience it, you can play that. Crazy, I know. So why are we talking about Silent Hill? Well, because this year, on October, they released Silent Hill 2 Remake. Now, I gotta say, the first 3 Silent Hill games are probably some of the best psychological horror, or just horror in general, that I've ever played, and those games age really well. The gameplay, of course, very outdated. Graphics, maybe not so much on the PS2 titles. Regardless of that, they are still, like, very creepy, very scary to play. I was surprised when I played Silent Hill 1 that it has the atmosphere. Like, I'm looking at this 32-bit game, and yet the sound design, the layout, the camera placement, because it's a third-person tank control game, is so well done that it still gives me the heebie-jeebies. And they did the same for Silent Hill 2. Although they did not do a direct continuation for the first game, they did it on Silent Hill 3. So if you want the story of the first game to continue, you'll have to play Silent Hill 3. But Silent Hill 2 is a great standalone story. It is amazing. With Silent Hill 2, you follow the story of James Sunderland, who was summoned to Silent Hill because he received a letter from his wife who died 3 years ago. So that's how the game starts. It sets you off walking into Silent Hill, foggy as heck, and you meet some of the characters until you get to Silent Hill. You learn more about these characters, and everything from the way they presented it is great. It's creepy, it's eerie. Voice acting, a little outdated, cartoonish, maybe, but somehow it adds into the weird, eerie atmosphere of Silent Hill 2. And then suddenly the voice acting becomes really good with Maria, especially in this.
James, what are you talking about?
Just before! Don't you remember?
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So, you're Maria?
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
In this specific scene, she just suddenly becomes a different person and even somehow feels like a real person. And this is a PS2 game. This is a game that they had to manually animate the face. They did, like, mocap wasn't good enough to read people's faces. They manually moved those lips, face, eyebrows, eyelids, everything. And yet, she looks very human and very creepy at the same time. It is insane how good that this cutscene was for the time, or maybe even now. But, I'm talking about the original that was made for the PS2. So how did the remake do? The gameplay it's very good. It is surprising because when I first saw the trailer for the camera and the combat, it's obviously like kinda ripping off Resident Evil remake games. The over-the-shoulder camera kind of thing. Even the shooting feels like Leon. Heck, James looks like Leon. Maybe this is the survival horror haircut. I have no idea. But nevertheless, it was serviceable. It was not too bad, I will say. As for the story, it follows the original almost word for word, which is interesting. But they do add some new stuff, new enemies, which is not really new, more like variants. There are new endings to the story. But for me, what's the most important is, of course, how they tell the story. You can add new gameplay elements or whatever, but if the key story is bad or badly told, then it's gonna be a bad remake for me. So how did they do in the storytelling part? Because I think that's the most important part of Silent Hill 2. So how did they do? Well, you first meet Angela, and okay, that's not Angela. They put a random person in place of Angela, I will say. They say that this is supposed to be younger Angela, but it's kinda hard to say. Like, I don't mind making her younger, but this is just an entirely different person. Where's Angela? Is this her cousin from I don't know. Is this her cousin? Is this her neighbor? It's fine, I guess. Her voice acting is a little bland, but it's serviceable. I mean, maybe I'm very biased to the original, but then again, I do like the original, so maybe I am biased. So we move on. You then meet Maria, which they redesigned to be less spicy, which is weird because she's supposed to be a symbol to James's, sexual desire. So why did I tone it down? But she looks fine. I don't mind that, but it is kind of weird. Again, new voice, new face, but somehow it feels very muted. The original cutscene feels more animated. She's more playful, she's more talkative in a sense, she's more friendly. In the new one, she is a creepy stranger waiting in the shed for James. Unlike in the first game, she's just a flirty girl that James meets. Kind of believable. There are flirty girls, of course, but this is James's dream flirty girl. She was made for him. So why does it feel like she's just a friendly neighbor? A friendly neighbor. It is weird. Like, why? Again, the only word I could think of it is that it feels muted. The impact was less on this version. So yeah, that's what I think of Maria. Like, she was okay, but the original cutscene just feels much better. So who else do we meet in this game? We do meet Laura, the kid. It's actually better. Laura is probably one of the few characters that got improved by this remake. I mean, it's a kid, and most of what the kid does, even in the original, is to tell you what happened, who is Mary, how she involved with Mary, and she just got better acting now. No complaints for me on Laura, so good job on Bluebird team for Laura. The other character that we meet is Eddie, Eddie is still the same. Kind of a pathetic guy who vomits at the sight of a dead person. But for this version, it's very similar. You just see more of his face now. Although you see more signs of him being crazy. You see a few more signs of madness with him. Every time you talk, every time you see a little reaction on his face, because, you know, updated face animations, better mocaps, you see him raising his eyebrow at a very few words. You see things that annoy him. So I don't really have anything bad to say about Eddie. I think he's one of the few characters that got adapted well enough in the remake, so yeah, he gets a pass as well. Now, if we talk about gameplay, I think the gameplay is really good. The Resident Evil-esque gameplay of it fits well to the new remade Silent Hill areas for exploring and all that, but they did adapt the combat as well. Since James is not a combat-focused character, it's obvious that he cannot actually fight hordes of monsters, and you will feel that when there's over 3 of them in one room. I think they overdid the combat for this remake. There's just too many battles for this mostly psychological horror game, and I wish they would tone it down. We need more creepy atmosphere and less fighting. As for the boss battles, I think they did well. They tried to make the boss battles longer, but I think they overdid it, at least for me. Some of the bosses they tried to add by adding hallways, bigger rooms, but instead of, like, I know this is supposed to be because it's a boss battle, but instead of being afraid that you're in a small room from like the old OG, you fight Pyramid Head in a small room, in a small square room. And it's kind of claustrophobic because he has a wide range. He is wielding a goddamn sword after all. And it kind of makes you panic because you have to keep running and he will slash and he could hit you if you try to run past him. In the remake, run and shoot. It's most likely that he will never hit you. Unless, of course, you made a mistake. But that's kind of unlikely. Even under bosses, you can apply the same logic because of the bigger room and the bigger area and the new combat mechanic. It's not that hard to fight these bosses. It's kind of easier, actually. So it's fine, I guess, as a remake, the boss battles, but gameplay wise, it's good. But as for the overall experience, I think it's just padding. Now, after everything I said, I will say this is a great game. If you like horror games, go play this. This is really good. If you played the original Silent Hill 2, you might feel a little, well, you'll feel the performance of this game. There's no easy way to say this, but they fucked up the important scenes from the original Silent Hill 2. Like, which ones am I talking about? It's this scene. It's this one.
Just before. Don't you remember?
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
This scene right here, where Maria talks to you from behind the cell and she talks like Mary. This scene is supposed to be surreal. It's supposed to make you feel like, is this Mary now? It makes you wonder, It makes you legitimately question yourself who is in front of you. The lighting, the sound, the way she is animated, it is perfect. It's perfection. And then we get the remake. She sits there with a monotonous voice, with lighting as boring as hell. All these advancements in modern gaming, and they cannot capture the most, arguably the most important scene in Silent Hill 2. That is mind-boggling. They already screwed up the meeting with Maria the first time, and then they're gonna screw up this important scene. This is the second time they screw up this second scene with Maria by reading the lines. This is literally what I think when people say they just phoned in their performance, because that's what I feel about this scene. Now, the rest of the game, the endings, they're well done. Even James, the new voice acting, the new acting for James, I think it's fantastic. It is great. But everything involving Maria, it kills it for me. It becomes an average game. Like, this game should be like 8 out of 10, but now it drops to 6. For me at least. I mean, like, if you never played the original, this is probably 7, 8, 7 above out of 10 for everyone else. But if you played the original, if you feel the emotion of the original, especially in the cutscenes of Maria when you first meet her and in the cell, then I hope you feel the same way that as I do when I played this game and saw these scenes for the first time, because it just kills it for me. I don't know how to actually recommend this. I've been saying you can, if you like horror, you definitely have to play this, but would I recommend playing the original first or going straight to the remake? The thing is, the remake is not a great replacement for the first game, but at the same time, it is the only version of Silent Hill 2 that you can buy. There's emulation, of course, but people nowadays would rather speak with their wallet than anything. If you would like to experience the first version, please do so. Try it, emulate it, do whatever you can. Konami is probably never going to release the original version, seeing that they don't even have the source code anymore. So in the end, I would probably still recommend Silent Hill 2 Remake. It is a good entry to the Silent Hill franchise. So if you like it, good for you. Good for you. I do like it myself, but it is still not a great replacement to the original Silent Hill 2, and I hope you would give the original a try. So those are my thoughts. What do you think of Silent Hill 2? Do you think it's a great replacement for the first game, or is it trash for you? Let me know in the comment section. Maybe we can talk about it. Other than that, I know it's been 2 months since my last video, but I'm thinking I should probably make videos about games that I complete, since I do stream them. Oh, go watch me. Go follow my Twitch if you'd like to see me stream. Who knows? Maybe you like it. For now, I think I'm gonna be making videos of games that I finish, give you my thoughts about them. So expect videos like this. Subscribe if you like that stuff. Hit the like, because that helps. Other than that, have a wonderful... Halloween's over. I was about to say have a good Halloween. Have a good day. I'll see you guys on the next video. Maybe next week, if I'm not lazy. Alright, have a good one.